Welcome to Cruise Ship Reviews.
Hi, this is Joe and Donna, and we love cruising.
With over 30 cruises under our belts,
We've been on
we've sailed on 4 of the Oasis-class ships,
4.
including the Wonder of the Seas, which we'll be reviewing today.
That's right, the Wonder of the Seas.
Yeah.
We've enjoyed every cruise we've sailed on, although some more than others.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the Wonder of the Seas.
Yeah.
We've got a stack of passenger reviews here.
We do.
And let me tell you, the sheer size of this ship
I know.
seems to be a double-edged sword.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah,
You're right, though. The Wonder of the Seas was the largest cruise ship in the world until just this year.
I know, it's crazy.
It's 11,188 feet long, with 18 decks,
Wow.
16 of which are for guests.
Oh, wow.
They can pack nearly 7,000 passengers on this thing. It sails from Port Canaveral and Miami, hitting destinations like Perfect Day at Coca Cay
Perfect day.
and various Caribbean islands.
All the good spots.
So on the one hand, you've got this incredible scale and variety. Yeah.
But on the other hand...
On the other hand,
Yeah.
you've got reports of uncomfortable crowding,
Oh, yeah.
especially during peak seasons and holidays.
Makes sense.
And you know what? Many of the negative reviews we've seen seem to stem from that one issue.
That's a great observation.
Yeah?
It's like the ship's size works against it in some ways.
I think so.
For example, lots of folks complain about long waits for everything.
Oh, really?
Drinks shows, even just getting a table at dinner.
I could see that.
One reviewer said they had to show up 45 minutes early to shows,
Wow.
even with reservations.
Even with reservations.
Just to snag decent seats.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
And don't even get me started on the food.
Oh, no.
You know how important the culinary experience is to us?
Of course, of course.
And honestly, a lot of these reviews were downright concerning.
Yeah, I was reading through some of them too, and the overall sentiment seems to be one of declining food quality, especially when compared to past Royal Caribbean cruises or other lines.
Yeah.
Bland, repetitive, lukewarm, and lacking freshness were some of the words that kept popping up.
It's funny you should mention popping up,
Why?
because there's this one review about the Park Cafe that really stuck with me.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
Remember how everyone used to rave about their roast beef sandwiches?
Oh, yes, a classic.
Well, this reviewer said it was a huge letdown.
Oh, no.
The roll was supposedly underseasoned.
Uh-huh.
And the Ojo's was described as having a weird gravy-like consistency.
Gravy-like.
It was a shame because Park Cafe was one of our go-to spots
I know.
on other Oasis-class ships.
It does make you wonder if they've had to compromise on quality
Yeah,
to cater to such a large volume of passengers.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
And speaking of things that might be better on a smaller scale,
Okay.
the issue of unsupervised children came up a lot in these reviews.
Oh, really?
It wasn't just a few isolated complaints either.
Huh.
It seemed to be a widespread concern, particularly for passengers seeking a more adult,
Right.
relaxed atmosphere.
I can see that.
Some of the anecdotes were pretty wild.
Oh, no.
Kids tearing off door sensors, vandalizing luggage,
No way.
playing kickball on the promenade, you name it.
Wow.
There were even reports of kids running amok in the solarium,
Oh, my goodness.
which is supposed to be an adult-only area.
I know.
It definitely paints a picture of a less than tranquil environment
Yeah.
for those hoping to escape the chaos of family life.
For sure.
And it ties back into that issue of the ship's size again.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
With so many people on board, it becomes harder to maintain a sense of order
I agree.
and enforce those boundaries.
And all that running around probably contributes to the noise levels,
Oh, yeah.
which, by the way,
Yeah.
were another major point of contention for a lot of these reviewers.
Okay.
Many mentioned the constant loud music, especially around the pool deck.
It seems like finding peace and quiet might be a challenge on this ship.
Apparently so.
And the entertainment, too, was criticized for being loud and geared toward younger audiences,
Yeah.
which isn't surprising given the demographics on board.
Yeah, I guess not. One reviewer specifically mentioned the Voices show, saying it had potential,
Okay.
but the overpowering bass completely drowned out the singers.
Oh.
Not exactly the kind of immersive experience you'd expect
Right.
from a high-caliber production.
It makes you wonder if the focus on sheer spectacle
Yeah.
might be overshadowing some of the finer details of the onboard experience.
I think that's a great point. So we've talked a lot about the negatives so far.
Yeah, we have.
And it's starting to sound like the wonder might not be so wonderful after all.
Yeah.
But before we write it off completely.
Right. Let's not forget that every cruiser has different priorities.
Right.
And what might be a deal breaker for one person could be a minor inconvenience for another.
Exactly. So let's flip the script for a minute
Okay.
and talk about who might actually enjoy a cruise on the Wonder of the Seas.
Okay, so for starters,
Yeah.
families with young children
Right.
are likely to have a blast on this ship.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's basically a floating amusement park
It is.
with tons of activities, a huge water park, dedicated kids clubs.
It's got it all.
It's all designed to keep the little ones entertained 24/7.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
And if you're someone who loves having endless options
Right.
and thrives on that kind of high-energy atmosphere,
Uh-huh.
the Wonder delivers in spades.
It really does.
20 restaurants,
No.
4 pools, countless bars and lounges.
Wow.
You'll never be bored.
No, you won't.
It's all about managing expectations, right?
I think so.
If you go in knowing that it's going to be crowded
Yeah.
and a bit chaotic,
Right.
you can still appreciate the variety
I agree.
and the sheer spectacle of it all.
And some reviewers even said
What's that?
that while they felt overwhelmed at times, they still enjoyed the fact that there was always something going on
Yeah.
and something new to try.
And I remember even amidst the negative feedback, there were some real bright spots
Oh, yeah.
that consistently shone through.
Like what?
The staff, for instance, got a lot of praise
Oh, good.
for their hard work and friendliness.
I'm glad to hear that.
Despite potentially being stretched thin,
Yeah, I bet.
it really speaks to their dedication and professionalism,
For sure.
even in a demanding environment.
And the embarkation and disembarkation process was consistently praised
Oh, yeah.
for being smooth and efficient.
That's always a huge plus.
Yeah.
Especially for first-time cruisers who might be feeling a bit anxious about the whole process.
That's a good point.
Mm.
So let's talk strategies for mitigating the downsides.
Okay.
If you're concerned about the crowds,
Yeah.
consider sailing during the off-season or shoulder season.
Yeah, good idea.
You'll likely encounter fewer families and kids during those times,
Right.
which could make for a more relaxed experience.
For sure. And book everything.
Yeah,
Dining shows excursions as far in advance as possible.
that's always a good idea.
Remember, you're competing with nearly 7,000 other passengers
There's a lot of people.
for those prime slots.
If you need a break from the hustle and bustle,
Yeah,
take advantage of those adult-only areas like the solarium.
right.
Hopefully you'll find some peace and quiet there.
Fingers crossed.
And if you're sensitive to noise,
Mm-hmm.
packs some earplugs.
Oh, good idea.
That way you can enjoy the shows and activities
Right.
without feeling overwhelmed by the volume.
I like it. And perhaps most importantly,
Yeah.
go in with realistic expectations.
Right.
This is a mega ship,
It is.
and it's going to feel like it.
It is what it is.
Embrace the energy, but also prioritize your own needs
Yeah.
and carve out those pockets of calm when you need them.
I like that. Speaking of embracing things, let's shift gears and talk about the ports of call.
Oh, yeah. The Wonder of the Seas sails to some truly incredible destinations.
It does.
And that's a big part of the allure for many cruisers.
Perfect day at CoPilot.
Okay.
Royal Caribbean's private island
Yes.
is a standout.
I've heard great things.
Imagine a giant water park with pristine beaches,
Wow.
overwater cabanas,
Nice.
and even a helium balloon
Real?
that lifts you high above the island
No way.
for breathtaking views.
That's amazing.
One of the reviewers specifically raved about their CoPilot experience.
Okay, what do they say?
They enjoyed the excursion, they booked the beautiful scenery, and the convenience of having food brought over from the ship.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah, it does. Beyond CoPilot,
Yeah.
the Wonder of the Seas visits a variety of Caribbean islands,
Uh-huh.
each offering its own unique charm and attractions.
I can't wait to hear about this.
We're talking St. Thomas, St. Martin, St. Kitts, Cozumel, Roten, Costa Maya.
Okay, all the good ones.
The list goes on.
Wow.
It really comes down to what you're looking for in a port experience.
I agree.
Do you want pristine beaches and crystal clear waters
Okay.
for snorkeling and diving?
Yeah.
Or are you more interested in duty-free shopping,
Mm-hmm.
exploring historic sites, or experiencing the local culture and nightlife?
Yeah, whatever your preference.
Right.
The key is to do your research
Yes.
and plan your excursions in advance.
Absolutely.
Especially if you're booking through the cruise line.
Good point. And speaking of excursions,
Yeah.
we did come across some negative feedback about the port experience in St. Thomas.
Oh, no. What happened?
One reviewer mentioned being stranded for almost 2 hours,
Oh, wow.
waiting for their excursion.
That's not good.
They also described the on-ship shore excursion staff as rude and unhelpful. It's a good reminder to always check recent port reviews
Yeah.
and see what other cruisers are saying.
Good point. And if you're booking through the cruise line, make sure to confirm all the details.
Right.
And maybe even have a backup plan in case things go wrong.
Always a good idea.
Yeah.
Now, shifting back to the ship itself,
Okay.
let's talk about cabins.
All right.
While there's a wide variety to choose from,
Mm-hmm.
some consistent observations emerged from the reviews.
Like what?
For instance, those interior Central Park balcony cabins were described as surprisingly small,
Oh, really?
with limited walking space and tiny bedside tables.
I see.
Not ideal if you're traveling with a lot of luggage
Right.
or just prefer a bit more room to move around.
And there were also complaints about noise from the pool deck above, even for cabins on higher floors.
One guest even described their ocean view balcony cabin
Uh-huh.
as feeling old,
Oh, no.
with an uncomfortable sunken-in mattress.
Yikes. It seems like the general consensus is that cabins on Wonder of the Seas might be a tad smaller
Yeah,
than what you find on other Royal Caribbean ships.
which makes sense considering they're trying to squeeze nearly 7,000 people onto this thing.
I know, that's a lot of people.
It is. And speaking of squeezing things in, let's move on to some other noteworthy details
Okay.
that reviewers mentioned.
Right.
The Royal Caribbean app, for example,
Mm-hmm.
is heavily relied upon for everything,
It is.
from booking dining reservations to managing your onboard account. But unfortunately, it was also a source of frustration
Really?
for many passengers who described it as glitchy, unreliable, and prone to crashing,
That's not good.
which is a real problem when so much of the onboard experience hinges on the app functioning properly.
Right. Then there were comments about formal nights lacking the elegance of previous cruises.
Oh, really?
Apparently the dress code has become a lot more relaxed,
Interesting.
with some people showing up in everything from gowns to shorts and T-shirts.
Wow.
And my time dining, which is supposed to offer flexibility,
Right.
now requires reservations to avoid long waits.
Huh.
And those book up quickly.
Oh, wow. It seems like even the aspects that are designed to make cruising more convenient
Yeah.
can become logistical hurdles on a ship of this size.
Right. There were also a few other points worth mentioning.
Okay.
Some reviewers expressed concerns about limited mobility services on the ship,
Oh,
making it less accessible for passengers with disabilities.
yeah. Spotlight Karaoke has apparently been redesigned.
Ah.
And it's considered a downgrade by some.
And the decision to switch to combination body wash shampoo in the cabins
Yeah.
was seen as a cost-cutting measure that wasn't well received.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So as you can see, it's a mixed bag of experiences
It is.
with both positives and negatives to consider.
Right. We've covered a lot of ground, but we're not quite done yet.
No, we're not. When we come back for the final part of our deep dive
Okay.
into the wonder of the seas,
Yeah.
we'll help you decide if this mega ship is the right choice for your next cruise vacation. So after all that, what's the verdict? Is bigger really better when it comes to cruise ships?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And as you might expect, there's no easy answer. It all comes down to what you're looking for in a cruise experience.
Right.
If you prioritize luxury, personalized service and a more intimate atmosphere,
Okay.
the Wonder of the Seas might not be the best fit.
I see.
There are other cruise lines and ships out there
Right.
that cater specifically to that niche.
Makes sense.
But if you're drawn to the energy and excitement of a megaship, the sheer abundance of options and the nonstop entertainment,
Okay.
then the Wonder definitely has its appeal.
For sure. Especially if you're cruising with a family.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's hard to beat the convenience and variety that a ship like this offers
Right.
for families with young children.
Think of it this way.
Okay.
The Wonder of the Seas is like a giant buffet.
Okay.
There's something for everyone,
Mm-hmm.
but you might have to navigate some crowds and long lines to get to the good stuff.
Right? And you might not love everything you try.
True. But that's part of the fun, right? Discovering what you like and what you don't.
I think so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all about setting realistic expectations and going in with an open mind.
One thing that really impressed me, even amidst all the mixed reviews, was the resilience and dedication of the staff.
They do work hard.
It can't be easy working on such a massive ship
Right.
with so many demanding passengers. Yet they consistently receive praise for their hard work and friendliness.
It's true. It's a good reminder that even on a ship as large and impersonal as this one,
Yeah,
there's still those human connections that can make a big difference.
I agree. Now, before we wrap up,
Yeah.
I think it's worth zooming out a bit
Okay.
and considering the bigger picture.
Right.
We've been focusing on the wonder of the seas in comparison to other Royal Caribbean ships.
Right.
But there's a larger trend at play here.
What's that?
You're talking about the cruise industry's fascination with building bigger and bigger ships,
Oh, yeah.
packed with more and more amenities. It makes you wonder, is there a point where bigger is no longer better?
That's a great question.
And it's one that each potential cruiser needs to answer for themselves.
For sure. Are you willing to sacrifice some intimacy and personalized service
Right.
for the sake of having more options and more spectacle?
Or would you rather opt for a smaller, more manageable ship
Right.
where you can truly relax and unwind?
Good point.
Mhm.
Ultimately, the best cruise ship for you is the one that aligns with your individual preferences
Yeah.
and travel style.
So do your research, read reviews, and most importantly,
Yeah,
listen to your gut.
I like it.
And with that, we'll leave you to ponder the wonders of cruising. Until next time, happy sailing.